So we're here at the multiplayer and single player and multiplayer event for GRA 2, basically. Can you tell us basically what are some of the big changes you've made in the multiplayer game?
We got a lot of new features that specifically address fan requests, things like a new spawn system, female characters, a lot more variety in the maps. Of course, there's a lot of graphics features that we couldn't get into the first game that now we can really spend the time. We've got more experience working on the 360, things like dynamic shadowing and dynamic particle effects and a bunch of other big buzzwords that I don't really understand. But
so when you got feedback, what were some of the things you got feedback on from critics and fans, and what have you done to implement changes specifically?
Well, there's been a lot. There was a lot of feedback. First, a lot of people had problems finding games. There's some problems with the UI and how the flow went. We've done a lot of new search options so people can more easily find and host games. There's problems in gameplay. For example, I mentioned spawn camping. Spawn camping was a big issue in GRA, and so we have a new spawn system that we basically algorithmically pick spawn points within a spawn region, and we also changed our invulnerability system a little bit so that you're invulnerable when you first spawn in, but you can still fire. You're invulnerable until you fire. So now it's almost turned things on its head. It's almost like a death trap to go into someone else's spawn area. Of course, female characters is a big thing. We didn't have time to get them in for Advanced Warfighter 1, and now in Advanced Warfighter 2 we have a whole new suite of female characters. We've updated all the characters with the new Future Force Warrior gear and Advanced Warfighter gear. There's a whole range of customization options for different, of course, genders and races, and of course a whole new slew of weapons. We've got a new Storm suite of weapons based on a prototype that's being developed right now. We got a new 6-pack grenade launcher that the U.S. Marine Corps just adopted. I even lost count with how many weapons we have. And one of the cool things is we also have alternate time of days for the missions. So you can play various different adversarial maps. You can play one during the day, one at night, and you can just swap between them.
One of the great things about GRA 1 was that there were so many options that you could choose from. And certainly there are going to be a lot of options now, but are there any new gameplay modes, or do you need any more gameplay modes?
We sat down. First, we went back into Ghost Recon history and found a couple modes that weren't in there yet. Helicopter Hunt was one that we had added in Summit Strike that was very, very popular. We went back, we got that in now. It's a new cooperative game mode. We've got a bunch of various different team modes, like Team Takedown, where one team member is worth more points than the others. We've got a few different solo modes. We've expanded on like Team Battle, which was added in Chapter 2 downloadable content. So I think the numbers climbed from something like 1,300 combinations to 1,500 or 1,600 combinations. Again, I kind of lose count. But we really feel it's important to allow players to play the way they want to play.
What about Legacy and Southpaw? We were talking about that earlier, and you know all of our readers and all of your fans want that kind of support. Are you supporting the lefties?
Definitely, definitely. I mean, one of the biggest mistakes, you know, I'll just take responsibility for myself. We made in GRA was leaving out the Southpaw control, and we've made up for that. We actually went back and added Southpaw into multiplayer in the first GRA in a title update. But now we have full Southpaw Legacy support. So go lefties.
The first game, GRA on 360, supported 16 players, and a lot of people were like, "Hey, this is the next gen. Why don't we have more players? Why aren't there 32? Why aren't there 64? Mm-hmm. But now we're on GRA 2, and it's still 16 players. So what's your excuse now?"
Well, there's two parts of it. I mean, one of it is technical. You know, the next generation's gotten bigger, but the internet is still the same size. You know, the amount of bandwidth that you have to push back and forth. And Ghost Recon, because of the nature of the gameplay, the tactical gameplay, you can't afford to to miss. You know, you can't afford in a game like, for example, like Quake. If your machine gun bullets miss a couple times, you're never really going to notice. But in GRA, if you miss with a sniper bullet, you're going to know right away if the game just drops that packet. So we need to be able to track everything to a minuscule level. So that's kind of the technical side. And then on the gameplay side, the other thing is, Ghost Recon is about small unit tactics. It's about two teams moving together as a unit and taking each other down. And once you get past a certain number of people, that tends to kind of break down. You know, in other military shooters that have a whole bunch of people, they're about that big wide-scale battle, and that can be really cool for the type of gameplay they have. But in Ghost Recon, it really is about a small unit working together to take down an objective.
Now, there were some complaints about the graphics between the single player and the multiplayer game in GRA 1, and now you've said you've improved the graphics in the multiplayer in GRA 2. Can you give us some examples and maybe tell us why that was the case the first time around?
We were a bit conservative on the first one in multiplayer because we were worried about things like lag and how it would work over the network and once it got approved to a lot of people. But this time we could really say, I mean, if you take a look at Crash Site and Aftermath that you saw today, you can see that we really push those after effects, the post-processing, things like the dynamic lighting and particle effects and things like that. So we were a bit conservative the first time, and now we've got an idea of our envelope, so we can push it a lot further.
Okay, one last question, and it's about all those achievement whores out there. What kind of achievements you've set up for the multiplayer, and other easy, medium, hard? Are they all crazy?
We've gone back and actually completely revamped the achievements for GRA multiplayer. There's a lot more of a stepping stone ones. There's some easy ones, there's some medium ones, there's some hard ones, and there's not really any completely insane, only 7 people in the world have them. We've got some achievements, for example, with the new healing system. So you get achievements for healing your teammates. That's another bonus. We've got some stepped up achievements. There's some cool defend co-op type achievements. There's one called Ultimate Defender, where you have to defend an area for 60 minutes. But of course, you can take as many people as you want. So you get 16 people in there. You defend it for 60 minutes, and you get the achievement. And there's some easier ones to do with multiple kills and things like that. So we really wanted to focus on exploratory gameplay instead of trying to make you do one thing really good. We want you to play a lot of the different maps, a lot of the different game modes, and really get out and experience the wide variety that we have, and we want to reward players for that.
Hey, well, thanks so much for your time, Christian. It was really great seeing you again after GRA 1, and this has been a great event.
Awesome. Well, great talking to you.
This is Doug Perry at the GRA 2 event in San Francisco, signing out.